Welcome back to Hannity. So yesterday, Ivanka Trump on Facebook announced that she is taking a leave of absence from her roles in the Trump Organization and her clothing and accessories line. She wrote, quote, "My husband Jared and I will be moving our family to Washington, D.C., where Jared will serve as senior advisor to the president. I plan to take time to settle our 3 young children into their new home and schools. Earlier, I spoke to the author of the #1 best-selling children's book in America, Take Heart, My Child, Fox and Friends co-host Ainsley Earhardt." All right, so this issue, Donald Trump yesterday at the presser talks a lot about the role of Don Jr. and Eric. They're taking over the company. Let's start with them.
So the 2 boys, they're going to take over the company. There are more than 500 different companies. They're going to run the operations here in the United States. All the companies that are overseas, they're no longer going to do business with them, at least for the next 4 years.
Right. And it's a big step for him. I mean, when Donald Trump mentioned yesterday, and I was kidding around yesterday with Michael Cohen, $2 billion, some guy in Dubai, and I said, "Can you give him my number?" I said, "I'm interested in that deal myself." So there really is a sacrifice. Donald Trump legally does not, though, have to recuse himself from his business, but he's doing it to avoid any appearance of impropriety.
That's exactly right. He doesn't want there to be a conflict of interest ethically, so he's giving his boys control of the businesses, and they're going to take over from here in New York. He's moving to D.C. His wife is going to stay here, at least for the remainder of the school year, so that Barron...
Just this school year.
Just this school year, they're telling us, so that Barron can continue his school. He's in a private school here in New York, and you know what that process is like. So until they can figure out what they're going to do with his school year down in D.C., she's not going to move down there. So Ivanka and Jared are moving down there. She posted yesterday on Facebook a long soliloquy about how she is giving up control of her business. She's putting in the hands of a girl. She posted a picture on Instagram of a girl named Abigail Clem. She's going to be the new president of her clothing line.
Is that going to be a blind trust like in the case?
So as far as blind trusts are concerned, her husband, Jared Kushner, is going to be his senior advisor. So he has a lot of money, comes from a billion-dollar family. So his assets he's sold to his brother. His trust is being overseen now by his mother, the blind trust. Is that what you're talking about?
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. So he is going to be very close and work very closely with Reince Priebus and with Steve Bannon. He is resigning as the chief executive of Kushner Company. He's also the publisher of the New York Observer, so he's giving up that role as well. And he's not going to take a salary down in D.C. So they're sacrificing a lot, as you were saying.
And Donald Trump's not taking a salary.
Exactly. So many people are concerned whether or not this is... In 1967, a law was applied, or a law passed. It was an anti-nepotism law. It was after JFK appointed his brother to be Attorney General.
And he was 35, and many people thought he was unqualified.
Right. So people were upset about that. They didn't want that happening going forward. But in this case, the attorneys of Donald Trump and Jared Kushner are saying it does not apply in this case, because he's not being hired, he's not going to take a salary, and also they're saying the law says it forbids public officials from hiring family members in agencies, and his attorney is saying the White House is not an agency. It's not. He's not going to become Attorney General.
Yeah, which is different. It's not a cabinet position, which would have been, which probably would have triggered the nepotism law in that particular case. You think about it, I actually think, knowing the media as we do and what we have seen this week, particularly yesterday, any slight appearance of impropriety would be blown out of proportion. It seems like they are trying to nip that in the bud, which I think ultimately will pay dividends for them.
Yeah, that's right. And they don't need the money. They're not taking a salary. You know, to most people, the salary of the president, which is $300, $500, that's a lot of money. Yeah. $300 is a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, yeah.
And he's not taking that salary because he just wants to make sure he stays above board and doesn't want any negative press about it.
All right, Ainsley, great report. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Every morning, 6 to 9, Fox and Friends. Appreciate it. Take Heart, My Child. Okay.